Hi, I'm Karl Konrad and welcome to the weekly edition of Australian Immigration News, proudly brought to you by Australian Immigration Law Services, the company I founded nearly 25 years ago. In these weekly editions, we don't just parrot the news, we offer our editorial opinions based upon our vast experience of looking after tens of thousands of clients' residency applications. And tonight we cover the ENS and 482 visa changes coming up, the latest updates in visa processing times, the Minister's new Northern Territory DAMA announcements, and how Australia's population is changing by country of birth. Yesterday came the official announcement regarding a possible start date for the 482 visa holders in the short-term stream to give them access to apply for permanent residency. From the 25th of November, the Australian government will be making changes to the laws regarding the 482 and ENS 186 visa to provide a simpler and clearer pathway to permanent residency for TSS visa holders. According to the department's news page, the government says this will provide employers and holders of TSS visas with more certainty and ensure Australia attracts and retains the skilled workers it needs. These are the main highlights. Firstly, regarding the 482 visa changes. From the 25th of November, the government plans to remove the limit on the number of short-term stream TSS visa applications that a visa holder can make while they remain in Australia. Now, before this change takes effect, short-term visa stream TSS holders with visas expiring before the 25th of November will need to travel outside of Australia to lodge a third short-term stream TSS application. Regarding the ENS 186 visa changes in the TRT stream, changes planned include allowing employers to nominate holders of all streams of TSS visas, including short-term and labour agreement streams, removing the requirement for nominated occupations for the TRT stream to be assessed against skilled migration occupation list. The nominated occupation will need to be listed in the ANSCO, and nominated workers will need to continue to work in the occupation nominated in their TSS visa. Reducing the period of time a TSS visa holder must hold their visa and work in their nominated occupation to be eligible to be nominated by their employer for the TRT stream to 2 out of the 3 years before nomination. Changes to the TRT stream nomination requirements are intended to apply to new ENS and RSMS nomination applications and applications that are yet to be finally determined as of the 25th of November 2023. Changes planned for the TRT stream visa application requirements include updating age requirements for regional medical practitioner applicants and high-income earning applicants aged 45 years and over to allow a 2-year pathway. There will be no changes to the usual 45 years of age cutoff for everyone else on the 482 visa, which we understand will be disappointing for many. There will also be an ending to COVID-19 related age exemptions that will become redundant as a result of the 2-year pathway. Now, regarding the direct entry pathway of the 186 visa, it does not seem it will be open to those who hold 482 visas in the short-term stream. An article in The Australian this week also highlighted the Albanese government's commitment in their upcoming migration review to a focus upon permanent migration. Now, most of us support such a goal as the end of long-term temporary residence in this country. However, there is a big question mark of how this ideal will be achieved in reality. Recent government figures show 482 visa grants over the last few financial years. 102,565 were granted by the end of last financial year. And you can see in this table the grants for the 18 to 19, 19 to 20, and 21 to 22 as well. And during the first quarter of this financial year, we have another 25,797. So by July 24, let's assume maybe another 110,000 at least. Well, this means that we have hundreds of thousands of people working here on the 482 visa, many of whom will have an eye on gaining permanent residency. Now, years ago, when the original decision of making the 482 visa into two main streams, with the majority of occupations given no pathway to PR, it was designed to ensure a limit on the flood of PR applications. Now, I don't mind opening the floodgates once again. I just want the government to be honest with them all and have a PR planning level ready for them. And I haven't even mentioned the plan to give all the farm workers on the Palm visa or similar a pathway to PR as well. Is the government preparing to radically reduce the 189 planning levels so they can fit them in? I can't see them reducing their regional visa program as an option. Or do they intend to dramatically increase the planning levels overall? And if so, then that's great, but I can imagine the general public backlash when we have a rental crisis. There needs to be some transparent discussion from the government here about how it's all going to work. And to top it off, last year the government commenced a 12-month international marketing campaign and a website, smartmoveaustralia.gov.au, to attract skilled migrants. As of August this year, they had nearly 260,000 people begin to make their EOIs through that website. This means they need skill assessments, English tests, perhaps NATI exams, just to submit these EOIs. People are spending thousands of dollars to prepare and a great deal of time. It is a money-making exercise and is clogging up the skill assessment procedures. If people's chances of getting an invitation for the 189 visa are going to be limited, then this needs to be explained now to be fair. Of course, this is equally unfair to those who have been in the system for some time and waiting for this for years for the invitation rounds to commence. So is the government plotting to give some or most of the 189 visa planning levels to the employer-sponsored visas? This is the question we all want an answer to. The Northern Territory received a boost this week with the Immigration Minister's announcement of extending the Designated Area Migration Agreement, known as DAMA, for another year. There is provision for another 625 visas for new workers, expanding permanent residency pathways for the existing workers, and this agreement aims to deliver more care workers, nurses, dental assistants, cooks, and chefs for local NT communities. The types of jobs offered under the agreement will increase, along with making it easier for employers to join up, expanding pathways to permanent residency for workers and their families. The agreement will now also include much-needed occupations like primary and secondary school teachers and software engineers, relaxing eligibility restrictions to appropriately address workforce shortages. And in the press release regarding this DAMA announcement, Minister Andrew Giles was on the same old bandwagon about backlogs and poor old Peter Dutton. He said, "We haven't wasted a day in cleaning up the immigration mess left by the Liberals over a decade of neglect, including under former Minister Dutton." Peter Dutton himself oversaw a complicated, slow and unplanned mess when it came to people coming into this country. Minister Giles, it's time to get yourself a new scriptwriter because you're starting to sound like Donald Trump. And we'll leave a link to the NT DAMA page in this video description. On the 31st of October, the Australian Bureau of Statistics released its annual Australian Country of Birth Report. At the 30th of June 2022, Australia's estimated resident population was 26 million people. This was a combination of 18.3 million residents born in Australia and 7.7 million residents born overseas. In 2022, those born in England, India, China and New Zealand were the largest groups of overseas born. Together they made up over 1/3 of all migrants living in Australia. The English-born group, 961,000, continued to be the largest group of overseas born. However, this population has steadily decreased from a peak of over just 1 million in 2013. Indian-born 754,000 was the next largest group and surpassed its previous peak in 2020, which was 724,000. Chinese-born 597,000, the third largest, but decreased after reaching its peak in 2019, which was 661,000. New Zealand-born 586,000 was fourth largest and surpassed its previous peak of 2013 of 585,000. And with the new citizenship laws, I'm sure that's going to get a lot higher. The Australian-born population in 2022 was 18.3 million people. It had increased by 173,000 people during the year. Finally, there have been some updates on the processing times, so here they are. The 189 visa time has increased from 8 months to 10 months. The 190 visa is down to 9 months, which is some relief. The 489 visa, sadly, is up to 22 months. Bad news indeed. The 489 visa is 49 months. And why we have any 489 visas remaining at all is a mystery to me and a disgrace overall. The 887 visa is slightly down to 25 months, which is also way too long for people who have served their time in regional Australia. The 476 visa are thankfully going down to at least 37 months. But the 300 visa is staggeringly back up to 33 months, which is an outrage to those citizens having to wait so long to be with their intended partners. The 309 visa is down to 23 months, which Alex and the other Canberra protesters will be happy to hear. However, the 820 visa is still way too high at 27 months. Now that the 186 visa is about to get very popular with these new changes, we decided to keep an eye on these figures as well. Currently, they are at 11 months for the direct entry stream and 12 months for the TRT stream. Now, these time periods for the ENS visa have been very stable for many years now, sometimes going down to 6 months in a good year. Now it's time again for a couple of our viewers' comments of the week. Tayabo writes in and asks, "Hello Karl, any chances of reducing the processing time for the Partner 309 visa?" Well, the good news is, as we mentioned earlier, the processing times are coming down, and let's hope they come down even faster. And Calvia writes in and asks, "Please make a video of 186 nomination and visa approval processing times. Thank you." Sure, Calvia, and as you saw tonight, the times are there, and we will be following the 186 visa processing times from now on too, so stay tuned. It's been another busy week of announcements, so if you want to be sure not to miss any, don't forget to subscribe and turn on that notification bell. Remember, we are always here to help with advice, and you can go to our website to book an appointment or just pick up the phone and chat to two lovely people, either Hay or Pat. If you need a faster appointment time, ask them if there is any time to squeeze you in. As always, take care out there, and I'll see you next time, so bye for now.